Greetings, everyone. Telling my translators were live. We should all be good. So, let's start class with a bit of contemplation inside. Peaceful, relaxed. Pay attention inside. Be conscious that you are conscious. Forgiveness is one of the hardest concepts to apply. The typical application, the typical way to forgive is to build a wall of indifference towards an event. That's not forgiveness, but that's how we use it. I forgive you, but it's not forgiveness inside. In the typical forgiveness, if you stay angry with a person, you will lose too much. So you realize, I have to not be angry to maintain a good relationship. So I'll forgive. That's not forgiveness. That's negotiating arrogance. But that's how we usually forgive. Someone aggresses us at any level, mildly or intensely, and we don't care about that person. Screw that person. I will never forgive. But if it's someone that we gain something from, or that we're in a relationship with, you think, "Yeah, can't really forgive. No, no, I must forgive. Yeah, if I don't forgive, I lose too much. Okay, that's what I do. Okay, I will forgive." Basically, you're just like an animal that says, if I don't stay happy with that person, I lose too much. So that's typical forgiveness for the untrained human. Okay. A wall of indifference, a game of pride, of importance, of purchasing love and resources. Okay, that's not forgiveness. Displaying the persecutor and the victim. Forgiveness, in a better way to do it, it's not the absolute way, but it's a better way to do it. Forgiveness is when we are hurt inside, and it has nothing to do with what the person did was right or wrong. It has to do with, I don't want to stay hurt inside. So we think, I have to forgive that person. So I stop being angry. So at least it's not based on greed. It's not based on what we gain from the other. It is a better state of forgiveness. Okay, this is where we start to work on ourselves. The typical example I use is the guy who killed my brother. I forgave him. It was an extremely hard thing to do, but I had to not live with this weight inside. So I told him, took him into my arms. I need you to know I forgive you. It's extremely hard to do, but it was not the holiest level of forgiveness, but it was, it was the act of a saint, if you want, to be able to truly forgive, so that emotionally I could disengage myself from that. I was going to mourn. I was going to be sad. I was broken inside, but I was living my heartbreak with my brother as one thing, and the anger with this guy as another thing. It was not all mixed up. It was, I will have my heartbreak with my brother, and the anger that I have towards this guy, I'll do the disappointment embracing. I will mourn even my pride. You know, as an animal, someone attacked my clan, so it was the pride of the clan. Someone attacked my family, so it was deeply rooted in the genetics. So I had to work on that. I was 18 when that happened, and I had been doing personal growth for almost a decade already. And since then, I've had a lot of practice. So if you find it hard to forgive, it is absolutely normal. So for the second stage of forgiveness, which is not about arrogance but personal growth, you still have the work inside to ask yourself, what must I mourn? What must be broken so it can be repaired? My value, my pride, my heart, my mind, maybe my body. What must I mourn? What must I lose to find peace again? And to find a motivation to forgive, the motivation at this point is to not carry a heavy heart, to move on into life, not stuck with past traumas. Let's say you need to react um, to your parents every time they talk to you. Okay? You have a passion to be reactive to your own parents. Is there a grudge that you're holding against them? Are you happy always fighting inside whenever you think about your parents? Not all of you have that situation, but some do. So I talk about it. Maybe you have something to forgive your parents. So that level of forgiveness is about asking yourself, do I want to stay unhappy? Do I want to stay challenged, contradicted, or irritated every time? So, am I angry at them? for that potential to always rise. Okay? So it can be your parents, your kids, your lover, your ex-lovers, your boss, society. It can be a lot of different people. But the question is it worth it to remain angry? Then you'll have an easier time forgiving. I have to let go of this. But it doesn't mean that they're right. It means I want to stop suffering for that. That's the level of forgiveness that I reached with my brother, actually, my brother's killer, in the situation with my brother. And it's a hard step to do, but it is essential to understand that aspect of forgiveness if we want to go deeper. So now let's go deeper into forgiveness. But first, we have to be motivated by peace, by harmony, releasing our own heart of the trial to stop the constant drama. Okay? And from that, we can proceed further. If we ask ourselves the typical basic questions of Visantara. Did I get angry last week, last year, at any point? Yes, probably. Did I choose it? No. Am I a slave of my own belief, of my own behaviors? Yes. Okay. Be humble about it. If I have many reactions, many ways of believing, many ways to act, and they're motivated sometimes by greed, sometimes by hatred, and sometimes by ignorance. Is it possible then that it is the same for the others? Is it possible that others also are motivated by their beliefs, their way of seeing life, and their ego's manifestations inside of greed, hatred, and ignorance? To understand that others are also stuck in this world of ego mechanics, it will help us forgive them by understanding sometimes they have no other option. Like this is how they are. They might be stupid or unevolved to your point of view, but to their point of view, it was the best they could do. Did you ever intentionally want to severely hurt someone? Intentionally, not motivated by your own revenge, not motivated by anger in response to something else, just pure blank evil? Probably not. You always do your best yourself. And even while doing your best, you mess up sometimes. Even doing your best, you can end up doing mistakes. Maybe that's what's going on with the others too, sometimes. Forgiveness is understanding, especially if you look back in your past, before any kind of personal growth, you did not know what life was about. And you were motivated by personal gain, wanting attention, trying your best to be loved. And sometimes you got angry. It happened. Well, some people have never done personal growth and they're still like that. They're just doing their best with the limited means they have. So, forgiveness is much easier when we realize it's not evil people that aggressed us, it's naive people, uneducated, ignorant, or unenlightened, unevolved. It's hard on our pride, but the previous motivation we found is still valid. Am I going to stay angry at people who are just retarded? Okay, insult them if you really need to at this step, and then you'll do a step further. How did it feel for others when I was younger and I was not always wise? Maybe they're just like that, you know. Try not to judge them as stupid, unevolved idiots, but be objective about the fact. Maybe they are simply not there yet in their evolution. Maybe they cannot understand what they're doing. It will be difficult. It will be disappointing. And like I said, forgiveness is one of the hardest virtue to practice. It's an action of surpassing your own superiority trip. I am better than these people. It's a way of surpassing your pride, your own value, to understand better. It's just something that happens. Now, don't be imprudent, don't be unwise. Forgiveness does not mean to trust a person again. If someone betrays you with money, they spent it bad, they stole it, they forgot about it, forgiving them is about understanding their animal nature and their limited understanding, forgiving their lack of responsibility. But remember, this person cannot manage money. Never trust them again with money, of course. Forgiveness does not mean to become stupid yourself. When there is an injustice done to you, we still need justice to apply if it is a legal matter in society so that their behavior is corrected, so that these people have a chance to learn, or at least we will stop them from hurting others. That's justice. That's important. But many times, there's no legal infraction, it's just tension between people. Forgiveness is about understanding the others doing their best at their level of evolution, education, and with their beliefs. I will free myself from the drama of that. And I will forgive that others are simply different. But I will never trust these people again with my heart. Do you understand that? That's about being prudent and having a sense of justice. Things have to be corrected. But I don't need to be the one to correct them most of the time and just let go. So now we have evolved from the first arrogant level of forgiveness. Screw them. I'll never trust them again. Okay, I forgive them, but fuck that situation. It's too bad. Okay, this is like just a false forgiveness. Okay, we have to evolve into finding a good motivation. It is for me to be freed from the pain inside. And still, it doesn't mean to trust people who showed they cannot be trusted. It has nothing to do with that. That's just wise prudence. Okay. Then you move on to recognizing yourself. Have I been an animal? Did I ever say something that offended another? And it was not my intention. It's just stuff that happened. It's just stuff that happened. Breathe. Try to feel what I'm teaching. The next stage of forgiveness is understanding creation, how it was made. We're all monkeys in the jungle throwing shit at each other because it's funny until it's not funny. And then we feel. Okay. As humans, we still do this. Just be in the jungle. And we have all our background, all our culture. I'll give you an example. This is a time of little crisis where people have to isolate, except to go get food or medical services. There's extremist Christians and Muslims that gather in very large masses to pray away the coronavirus from the planet, to ask it to disappear. God, make it go away. And there are flourishing cases of infection in these large religious gatherings. And then there was the indifferent kids who still went to parties, beach, raves, which is now raising the percentage of young people dying from the virus. And then you think those who isolate, but I do my share, and they participate to the propagation. And the thing is, we all have our different training, our background. Imagine if you were conditioned to believe that Jesus or Allah is your savior. If you spent your life being told and believing and reinforcing the mental and emotional bonds, the solution is group gatherings and prayer. Then in front of a trial, that's what you would do. Now you probably don't. But these people were conditioned. So it's just a phenomena of nature. And Darwin natural selection just happens. This is how we learn. Is the Savior so efficient? We, as spiritual people, once we've done work on ourselves, personal growth, once we've done spiritual practice, mantras, kujian, meditation, we start to have supernatural events happen to us. We are the first one to start believing in the supernatural. because they happen. They become objective facts for us. It's not based on mass gathering, but we do believe in some form of supernatural intervention because we worked on it. So religious people have their own way of perceiving this kind of phenomenon. Okay, so that's an example of we're just humans in the jungle dealing with the culture and the beliefs we have. If you had been raised in the same way, you would be the same way. Another example of accepting how the jungle is. If you received violence on yourself many times in your life, you would be a violent person. You would be struggling with these impulses of anger. We all have to deal with the potentials of emotion that are stuck inside us and come out. We're still just in the jungle, but we've structured it. And forgiveness is understanding whatever happens, it's just the mass of everyone doing their best with the cards they were dealt, with the tools they were given. Now let's go even deeper to understand how nature is. If a mother lion or wolf, even cat, is too tired to raise too much babies, it will eat the weakest to get back the nutrients and have one less to feed. That is what nature does. If your parents did not have peace of mind and a calm heart, if your parents could not deal with you because it was too intense to deal with you and they rejected you, that's what nature does. That's what lions and wolves and dogs and cats do. That's what nature does. When one tree grows in the forest, if there's a patch of sun because a few trees fell, the fastest tree to grow, the strongest, will spread its leaves as wide and as tall as possible to get the maximum sun because it's focused on its survival. And will take all the sun and every little sprout that starts under that tree will die. One tree who grows into an adult will have taken the food of 100 other trees and plants over its lifetime. Trees take all the space they can. When humans take all the space they can, and your space is taken from these people, that's what nature does. Whenever someone fights for space or is arrogant, annoying, that's what nature does. This is survival instinct. It's programmed in the genetic core of everything alive to survive before anything else. And then a lesser influence is beliefs and how you were raised and education. And then a lesser influence is your own pride, like, how dare you do this to me? That's insignificant. So humans take space, react defensively, become angry when aggressed, and become sensitive to aggression depending on their need to survive. That's what nature does. So often I explain this is what nature does, and some people still don't understand because they have not studied nature, what the plants do. Plants, they're so beautiful and compassionate. Plants will fight ferociously for a piece of land and a piece of sky, and everything in between is their own. Animals will be kind one day until they're hungry and then they will eat the animal they were kind with. Okay. The more you understand basic nature, the jungle, the easier it is to forgive by simply losing the mental battle with nature. Everything in your mind that says it should be that way, these people don't have the rights, my government should this or that, my lover is always like this and that. All of these mental justification lose the battle in front of the truth. That's what nature does. Forgiveness, in its ultimate level, is a profound acceptance of erratic powers flowing in nature. And humans have never left nature. We are in nature. We're still monkeys throwing shit at each other because it's funny until it's not. Then we fight or we flee. We're still wolves, hungry and protecting our own. Family genetics. If you make an effort to lose the mental argument you have with nature, like it shouldn't be that way. Yeah, but it is. It is. My parents rejected me. That's why I'm like that. Yeah, but being like that will not change the fact that you have been rejected. Parents, lovers, friends, the entire world. Embrace your animal passions. Embrace your own impulses. Are you a squirrel hiding all the time, gathering your food and not telling anyone? Are you a falcon staying far from others but hunting the squirrels the moment you can? Are you a turtle walking strong in the middle of everyone but with this hard shell like you can't touch me and I'll bite anyone who gets close to my mouth? You are still nature. Recognize your behavior and accept everyone else also has a natural behavior. This is how the universe was created. Feel it inside. It will be hard to forgive because when you're hurt, you will have to mourn something anyway. An object, a person, your pride, your beliefs. You'll have to mourn something anyway. You will be hurt anyway. Find this motivation. Is it worth it remaining in suffering? Is it worth it remaining in drama just to react again and again? Would I prefer being happy? Yes. Then I'll use that as my motivation to forgive. And I'll understand it doesn't mean to trust those who prove they cannot be trusted. It doesn't mean that it justifies injustice. If someone did a behavior that hurts others, it should be corrected. But if it won't, it won't. If you can't correct someone's behavior, if the law cannot intervene, you're gonna lose the battle anyway, because it's just the jungle. It's just what we do. It's what nature does. We have seen a great deal of compassion in nature. It is true. There is a beautiful, beautiful collaboration between every being in nature. There's a harmony until hunger happens. That's not even greed, it's just survival. Hunger comes, and then you will kill the next thing alive that you can eat. Everything you eat dies, always. It's part of accepting nature. So don't use forgiveness as in a childish way to allow injustice to persist, but to realize sometimes it won't change nothing. You cannot change something about someone, but you can be wise in trusting who you can trust and evolve from that, grow from this, and forgive by a profound understanding. Everyone is acting with the emotional potentials that are stuck inside them. They're acting with the cards that were offered through their lives, through their beliefs, but mostly because of their own impulse in nature. It's genetic, a lot of it. Allow this new understanding to break your pride, to break your superiority, even if those idiots are idiots. Accepting nature has people more evolved than you and people less evolved than you. And your pride doesn't matter in that equation. That's what nature does. Forgive your parents or your ex lovers for what they did to you. They were doing their best. That's what nature does. Just do our best with what we're given. Okay? I hope that this class of forgiveness was inspiring to you. I hope that it helps you understand how to free yourself from your past potentials so you can move forward. Stay prudent, stay wise in who you trust, in how you manage yourself, but stay free of hatred towards nature by simply accepting this is what nature does. I lost the battle the moment I was created myself. And how proud I am will not change anything about it. I repeat it because it's important. Now we contemplate that. And there's a city called Anuja. Anu means in Sanskrit bija, Anu means what I feel or the experience I'm going through. And Ja is the simplest expression to that means understand or pure thought. Okay. Anuja is a city and it literally means forgiveness. Okay. So the word forgiveness in Sanskrit is Anuja. But it's composed of understand what I feel. Understand what I feel. Correct. Yeah, cool. Let's try to be serious while I try to teach this important wisdom. Anuja means this entire class of wanting to understand deeply the mechanics of the ego, how I feel in those experiences. That's the Siddhi Anuja. Forgiveness will come with a proper understanding and a proper processing of what I feel. So we contemplate for a moment Anuja. That's what nature does. My pride that was hurt, let it go. My heart that was hurt, let it go. What must I mourn to be complete? And what must I understand to find peace again in a situation? Can I accept that others are like they are and there's no other choice? Others will grow when they grow, and until then, they won't. Anuja. Just contemplate Anuja. Shivani has an interesting question. Can you tell how does forgiveness apply to the soul? First, you need to profoundly understand what is a soul. So if your idea of a soul is this spiritual thing that you have that you don't understand, but you have it, it's not gonna work. Okay. You're not a human with a soul. You are a soul and you have a human, or actually you're all of it at the same time. Once you understand in nature what nature does in the natural level, you can apply this to the supernatural level of dharma, causality, and pure consciousness. So forgiveness for a soul is when the soul understands it's just karma flowing, and all the dharma, it's all lessons that's happening. It's all there to grow. So as a new ager, you've said that often. But as a soul, until you're active really as a soul, you won't have those pure feelings of acceptance of karma. Ah, karma is just this force that flows, it's power. I accept it. I'm finally accepting karma instead of being afraid of my karma. And dharma is all these lessons constantly flowing. Like when sometime a lesson happens to you and you're just hurt as a human, to live forgiveness as a soul and apply this is what nature does, okay? But at the level of dharma is when I don't know a lot of people who can do that. I do this. When something profoundly painful happens, and inside I feel, wow, this great lesson of liberation is happening. This is absolutely awesome. Oh, it's my karma coming to me. Let's just go and mourn that. Let's sit in hell and all this pain I'm living in that morning is all the power I can have. This is fucking cool, you know, extremely painful. But it is to realize that suffering that you have during your forgiveness and your personal growth. is the amount of power you can feel, and that makes you extremely strong. That's when you are in full acceptance of karma, because the pain, it will remain pain. It's when you really embrace the Dharma, the wisdom, those lessons are making you feel so passionately in love with Brahma's primordial curiosity. This is what I am discovering. What must I let go? Control. Oh my God. That's how much control I have to not mourn a next lover, to stay heartbroken. Wow. You know? So for the human, it's very painful. So it always pushes the soul away again. Oh, this hurts so much. Oh my God, what have I done? This is, I don't want the Dharma and I don't want the karma. So soul goes away and no forgiveness there. So the amount of dramatization and the amount of complaining about situation is it's extremely hard because the victim role, the victim says, I have to be a victim of what is happening to me. I have to complain about my pain to soothe it because it hurts so much. But that pushes your dharma and your karma away. That deactivates the soul's implication. Until you have done personal growth as a human, and then the soul can slowly accept, okay, after all the battle, I will start to understand and forgive others because I'm tired to be hurt. And that was weeks of playing the victim anyway, and it's a slow process, you know. So how does forgiveness apply to the soul? Thank you for the question, Shivani. I would not have answered that unless you asked, because it is so rare that someone has an elevated mind, a sense of profound responsibility as a human, to say that pain, that which I'm losing, is how much power and wisdom I can have, and then use that as a motivation. When we speak power, we're talking pure God power. We're not talking human power trip. That makes me more powerful to crush my enemies. No, that's arrogance. We're talking pure power without ignorance, without greed, without hatred. Power of responsibility, manifestation, charity to the world, embracing suffering in hell. Real power. Yeah. Power of compassion, basically. Yes. So that was a nice question. Good. Study that. When you practice Anuja, usually you do it as a human. I want to profoundly understand everything I experience. That will prepare a scenario inside you for Anuja to consider what you are as a soul and what it means to discover that nature. The soul just wants to discover nature. It's not a reaction to it. It's the human that reacts to nature. The soul is just, let's see what it is. Let's find out what is creation. Oh, it's lion mothers eating the last baby. How wise it was. Gain the protein back and save resource for the others. Cool, you know. And then It's unacceptable behaviors for humans. And of course, you should not do that. Our goal is to transcend nature as much as understand it. Yeah. Us as humans, any being with metacognition is actually trying to surpass nature to relieve ourselves from the power of the genetic code. So, yeah, don't be like lions eating your kids. We've all heard of a story of a mother who killed her child in its bath because she just couldn't raise it, she couldn't handle it. Well, that's exactly what nature does. This is not evil. This is not evil at all. This is nature. And then humans completely lose their mind about it. And of course, a person like that is considered a murderer for human system. But that's nature. That's what nature does. I'm never going to respect or trust a woman who does that to their own kid. Never. Absolutely never. This is absolute injustice. And these people have to be educated and or be put in jail to have consequence. A mother that kills their own child because we want to elevate ourselves beyond the genetic impulse. But I will never be angry at the mother for being a part of nature. Just this is why nature does. You can't deal with it, you kill it. That's exactly what nature does. This is how it's easy for me to forgive the one who killed my brother. That's what nature does. An animal killed another animal for personal greedy reasons. And I'm happy he went to jail. And then he came out and I met him again. I shook his hand. I hope you learn from that. I hope you grow. I've had a hard time mourning, but I hope you'll grow. And he printed false money, so he went back to jail. So he was in a life of hatred and crime, and his karma still was applicated. But I forgave him. I forgave him, of course. That's what nature does. It is awesome to understand forgiveness like that. I will see you for class tomorrow. Same time.